How did the First World War actually start? What were these empires really after? And, spoiler alert, did anyone actually win? Most think it started when a 19-year-old named Gavrilo Princip shot Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary. Suddenly, everybody was picking sides like a lethal dodgeball game. But wait, that's just the tip of the historical iceberg. The real beef started in the 19th century. Think of the Franco-Prussian War of 1871 as the prequel nobody asked for. Germany won that round and snatched the provinces of Alsace and Lorraine from France. Finders keepers, right? To make sure France couldn't pull a reverse Uno card, Germany started making friends to build a massive squad. The logic was simple. If Germany has tough friends, France wouldn't dare try anything. Pretty clever, honestly. Germany high-fived Italy and Austria-Hungary, creating an exclusive club known as the Triple Alliance. VIPs only. They had a flimsy deal with Russia too, but Austria-Hungary and Russia were like oil and water. More on that later. Meanwhile, France was sitting in the corner, embarrassed and terrified of Germany's rapidly growing muscles. So, France did what any nervous nation would do. It swiped right on Russia and formed a defensive friendship. Britain, watching Germany get a little too big for its boots, decided to join the France-Russia group chat. Boom! The Triple Entente was born. Now we have two massive, heavily armed cliques staring each other down. Germany was riding high on a superiority complex, influenced by a twisted take on survival of the fittest. They genuinely believed they were the top dogs destined to rule the European playground. Talk about an ego trip. Russia, parked right next door, was sweating at Germany's booming military and overflowing bank accounts. Plus, Russia had appointed itself the protector of the Balkan nations. Serbia was one of those little siblings. And guess who was the prime suspect in funding the Archduke's assassination? Yep, Serbia. The plot thickens. Why poke the Austro-Hungarian bear? Well, Europe's booming economy came with a side of extreme nationalism. People were obsessed with their heritage. The Slavs in Serbia were incredibly proud of their unique identity. They dreamed of liberating northern Slavs from Austria-Hungary to create a massive, unified Greater Serbia. The extreme national pride fueled young Gavrilo Princip to take matters into his own hands in a drastic way. When the Archduke visited Sarajevo, a territory Serbia desperately wanted, Princip saw his golden opportunity. Fun fact, several people tried to take out the Archduke that day. The trip was basically a VIP obstacle course. He survived the first attempts, mostly just getting his entourage injured. You'd think they would just go home. But no. While visiting the wounded, his driver made a spectacularly bad wrong turn right into a random alleyway. And who was standing there, probably grabbing a sandwich? Gavrilo Princip. He didn't miss his second chance. Austria-Hungary immediately pointed an angry finger at the Serbian government. It was the perfect excuse for war. But they waited a whole month before declaring war. Nobody wants to look like the bad guy who shot first. Also, they needed to make sure Germany had their back. Germany, feeling pumped, handed them a blank check. Austria-Hungary sent Serbia an ultimatum so ridiculous, it was a giant neon sign saying, "We want a war now." Surprisingly, Serbia agreed to almost everything, except letting Austrian police run investigations on their soil. That one no was all Austria-Hungary needed. They painted Serbia as the villain and hit the war button. Austria-Hungary attacked Serbia. Russia immediately hit the panic button and mobilized its massive, clunky army. Germany saw Russia stretching its legs and declared war on them. And then, just for good measure, on France too. Everyone thought this would be a quick adventure to show off their shiny new weapons. They were entirely wrong. Germany was stuck in a geographical nightmare, a two-front war. Russia on the east, France on the west. To avoid getting squished, Germany cooked up the Schlieffen Plan. Step 1. Knock out France super fast. To get to Paris quickly, Germany asked Belgium if they could just march their massive army across their lawn. Belgium declined. Germany decided to walk through anyway, dragging neutral Belgium into the massive brawl. Britain had a promise to protect Belgium. So, when Germany trespassed, Britain angrily joined the group chat. Honestly, Britain was also terrified that a victorious Germany would become a monster ruling all of Europe. Now Austria-Hungary declared war on Russia too. It was a free-for-all. But what about Germany's buddy, Italy? Italy looked at the mess, pulled a classic switcheroo, and joined France, Britain, and Russia. A wild plot twist. Germany and Austria didn't care much because the Ottoman Empire decided to join their Central Powers team. So now it's the Triple Entente versus the Central Powers. The stage was set for a massive global showdown. Back west, Germany's sprint to Paris failed miserably. Why? Russia mobilized way faster than anyone expected. Russia knocked on Germany's back door, forcing Germany to frantically send troops east, weakening the west. The remaining German troops bumped into the combined British, French, and Belgian armies. The advance halted. Plan B: Germany tried to capture English Channel ports to choke off supplies. This led to the Battle of Ypres. Spoiler: they failed. Nearly 250,000 soldiers perished. Everyone realized this wasn't a quick trip. Welcome to trench warfare. Instead of moving, everyone dug massive ditches and sat in them. An absolute nightmare. Imagine freezing mud, giant rats, terrible food, and the constant smell of decay. The worst camping trip ever. Add in terrifying new tech like poison gas and tanks, and the Western Front became a brutal meat grinder. Millions of lives were thrown away for a few yards of mud. Meanwhile, the Eastern Front saw actual movement. At first, Russia pushed hard and grabbed chunks of eastern Germany, but then Commander Hindenburg showed up. Hindenburg pushed them back, and the Austro-Hungarian army joined the counterattack. Russia was in trouble. Russia's army was massive but terribly equipped. They were literally running out of guns, boots, and morale. Allies couldn't send Amazon packages because Germany controlled the Baltic Sea, and Ottomans blocked the south. Russia's military collapsed. To make matters worse, a massive civil war erupted back home. The Tsar was out. The new Russian government looked at the absolute chaos and said, "We're out." They signed a harsh peace treaty. Russia gave up massive chunks of land. You'd think the Allies were doomed. But a new player entered the game. Enter the United States. After Germany kept sinking their ships with submarines, America had finally had enough. This wasn't just European drama anymore. Japan joined the Allies and gobbled up German territories in the Pacific. Portugal jumped in too. Even colonial territories in Africa were dragged into fighting. It was truly a world war. Italy was busy fighting a grueling mountain war against Austria-Hungary. The entire globe was practically on fire. As the war dragged on, Germany's wallet and pantry were completely empty. The British blockade was starving them. Back in Germany, citizens were fed up. Rebellions sparked across the country. The Central Powers were crumbling. The Ottoman Empire and Austria-Hungary threw in the towel first. They simply couldn't sustain the fight anymore. Finally, with allies gone and their country in revolt, Germany surrendered. The guns fell silent in the West. This entire bloodbath wasn't what regular people wanted. It was driven by power-hungry leaders counting coins. Decisions that wiped out a generation were made by out-of-touch elites, completely blind to the human cost. So, did anyone actually win World War I? The short, depressing answer is absolutely not. Everyone was a loser. Every single nation involved lost millions of citizens, economies shattered, entire empires wiped off the map. People suffered unimaginable poverty and starvation. The sheer number of lives lost is just hard to comprehend. But here's the chilling part. This wasn't the end. The peace treaties left a very bitter taste in many mouths. Harsh punishment slapped on Germany would slowly brew a dark resentment, setting the stage for a bigger disaster. Yep, World War I was basically just the terrifying prologue to World War II. We didn't learn our lesson. History is wild, right? It shows how a single wrong turn in a car can literally set the world on fire for years. If you want to keep unraveling the crazy mysteries of our past, hit subscribe on Behind the Screen right now.